of our quality assurance board, because it was part of the ICAP, and ICAP was formulating, and ICAP had the power to, council had the power to prepare the quality control framework. So this body that we have even now is not a member and cannot be a member of IFIAR. So the committee, when it was deliberating what should be the form of oversight board, this was the criteria. We looked at the core principles and we formulated recommendations in the law so that the Audit Oversight Board of Pakistan ultimately becomes the member of IFIAR. And as you can see that this body association, which comprised of 15 members, currently have around 51 jurisdictions. So virtually all the major jurisdictions of the world who matter are members, and they have the independent audit oversight mechanism. So what are the jurisdictions where these have been established? I think even Bangladesh has passed this Financial Reporting Act 2015, and they have established the Financial Reporting Council, which will monitor the profession of accounting bodies. And the composition is also given, and I think they've done it on the model of UK. So even Bangladesh has this independent oversight mechanism. Then India has also constituted National Financial Reporting Authority, an oversight body having quasi-judicial authority, including suo motu investigation powers in cases of professional misconduct. So these are some of the examples what other jurisdictions have done. So you can see that in Bangladesh and India, they have formed totally independent bodies, independent of the profession there, to oversee the quality of service of professionals, and many of the functions of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, as you can see, have now been transferred to NFRA. In Australia, Australian Securities and Investment Commission, again totally independent of the profession, is exercising this power of audit oversight. Japan actually is the one model that we picked up, which on the basis of which we have drafted our law and our framework. As you can see, in Japan, the name of the body is Certified Public Accountants and Audit Oversight Boards, and functions and power. Basically, this board that has been established carries out oversight of the Japanese institute which represents the accounting profession. So that was the only jurisdiction where we found that profession was also involved. The only thing was that while the Japanese institute was carrying out the quality control review and oversight of the audit firm, they had established this independent board, which was under their FRC, to carry out an independent oversight of the profession, which was regulating the profession and carrying out the oversight of the CPA, Certified Public Accounting Audit Firms. And this is the structure of the Japanese model. You can see that actually the quality control review of the audit firms is carried out by this quality control committee and quality control review team of the Japanese institute, but then this body and FSA does the oversight of this the committee or the team and the quality control oversight board of JICPA. So we thought we discussed this various models, and we found that instead of creating a new body which carries out directly the quality control of the firms and reviews the working papers of audit firms, the best model will be that the quality assurance board should continue to do that work, and we should have an independent oversight body which ensures or which does the oversight and supervision of the Quality Assurance Board on the pattern of Japan. Because we found this model which was acceptable to FER, so we have tried to model it. We think and hope and expect that the Audit Oversight Board of Pakistan on this pattern should be acceptable to the global donors and regulators, and should be able to become member of FER on this basis. Malaysia also is Audit Oversight Board has been formed under the Securities and Exchange Commission of Malaysia, so it's again totally independent of the profession there, and same is the case in Singapore. So, and South Africa, I'll not go into details of these jurisdictions. In UK, it's the Financial Reporting Council, as most of you are probably aware. There is an Audit Oversight Board or Audit Board within the FRC which does the oversight. So, and United States, of course, is much more rigorous and much more stringent. It is the Public Company Accounting Oversight Board which does the oversight, which is under the jurisdiction of this US Securities and Exchange Commission, but it is independent and it has very vast powers, and it does the registration of all the audit firms as well as does their supervision and inspection. So, I think I've already talked about it, that most of the audit oversight functions are either under the umbrella of SEC, Securities Commission, in most of the countries, or established as a separate body. But in all cases, it is totally independent of the profession. Only in the case of Japan, profession is involved under an independent oversight. So that is why, as I said, we modeled our framework on the basis of Japanese framework, and I'll just give you some salient features of the board and the law that we have formulated, and then we can have question answer session and comments. So the proposed audit oversight framework, largely based on Japanese model, as I said, this is the only option where existing QCR process established by ICAP will continue with some minor changes under independent oversight of the Audit Oversight Board. So I think at least most of the members and the council also, when we discussed it with them, they like this idea that at least the profession will remain involved and will remain relevant. If you give the oversight function totally to the bureaucrats and profession is not involved, that would be much more riskier for the audit firms and for the profession. So the institute will continue to play an important role in the QCR process as it is doing. This will respond to the global trends while responding to local needs. AOB will mostly rely on the work of inspections carried out by the Quality Assurance Board. However, it will be, and AOB will register all audit firms on the recommendation of QAB. And all quality control rated firms on the promulgation of this law, which is basically, let me also mention that we also selected that instead of bringing a new law, it will be the oversight board provisions will be incorporated in the SECP Act. Basically, initially, as many of you must have seen, that SECP had incorporated the oversight-related provisions in the new draft company law, which obviously we had serious objection to those provisions. They were not appropriate. So we debated and deliberated what should be the form. So basically, I think the ICAP members, proposed that the framework, the basic details, we all, we recommended the Japanese model, and I'm I think I'm happy that SECP members and the chairman agreed with all the framework. So we drafted the framework, which I think is in favor of, in the interest of the profession, in public interest. And as far as the legislation is concerned, we left it to the SECP, that what is more convenient. So they thought that instead of bringing a new law, it is better to, from the convenience perspective and from the perspective of getting it passed through the Parliament, SECP Act, amendment in the SECP Act, they thought was more appropriate. So we said fine. So we agreed to that mechanism. So there were three options: an independent law, amendment through company law, or amendment through SECP Act. Fourth was amendment through ICAP ordinance. So I think we all agreed that okay, SECP Act में आप amendments कर लें, लेकिन ये कि framework की details जो हैं, those were largely recommended by the members from ICAP side. Also, I think we have a very unique provision in the proposed law, because the main thing is, the most important thing about this oversight board is who are going to be the members. Our interest is that we should have the right members, the top quality members who have the right qualifications, and also who should have knowledge of the accountancy and audit matters. In fact, that provision is also incorporated. शायद वो भी ज़रा अगली प्रेजेंटेशन में आप डाल दीजिएगा, उसमें जो रिक्वायरमेंट्स है ना, मेंबरशिप की क्वालिफिकेशन जो है वो उसमें दी हुई है. And then as you will see, you can see in other jurisdictions, this power is generally given either to the Securities and Exchange Commission to appoint the members, or to the federal government in most of them. We said that no, it should be a nominating committee, and the nominating committee, includes the Secretary to the Government of Pakistan Finance Division, Chairman of the Commission, that is Securities and Exchange Commission, and President of the Institute is also included there. Then the Governor of State Bank, and one member to be co-opted by the ex officio members. So this will be a 5-member committee. You can see it's a balanced committee, and we have involved no other jurisdictions. ICAP, profession's president is involved in the appointment of the Audit Oversight Board. So here the profession remains involved. Not only the oversight is actually directly carried out by the Quality Assurance Board, but the president of the institute is also on the nominating committee, and nominating committee, is ex officio members, finance secretary and chairman of the SECP and Governor State Bank, and one member to be co-opted. So, and as far as the board is concerned, AOB will be an independent body that will oversee and monitor the work of Quality Assurance Board, as I mentioned earlier. Chairman as well as board members of AOB will be appointed through a transparent nominating process by the federal government on the recommendation of the nominating committee. On the promulgation of the Act, all firms having satisfactory QCR rating shall be deemed to be registered with AOB. To register an audit firm on the recommendation of QAB in accordance with the Quality Control Review Framework. Again, Quality Control Review Framework that is formulated by the ICAP Council remains relevant here. AOB on its own motion or on the recommendation of QAB may order deregistration of an audit firm. For this purpose, AOB shall rely on the work and inspection carried out by QAB, which is the Quality Assurance Board, or its own inspection. So there has to be some reason for deregistration. If they come up, if they do the inspection and they find serious flaws, then in that case, it should be either through as a result of inspection or mostly on the recommendation of the Quality Assurance Board. So these are some of the other functions of the AOB. AOB on a complaint or suo moto or on reference made by SECP or SBP may conduct inspection of records of QAB in respect of an audit firm registered with AOB. It can also undertake comprehensive review and examination of QAB's work and independently assess the appropriateness of the quality control review system and take such actions as deemed necessary. It can direct the institute for making such changes in the QCR framework as it considers necessary or expedient. to ensure that auditing standards adopted by the institute conform to the international standards as issued by the International Auditing and Assurance Board. So these are the functions and the work that AOB will carry out. In conclusion, establishment of an AOB has become necessary in Pakistan. I think I've already talked about it, to provide credibility to our financial reporting and auditing framework. I think it should, this independent forum should make our quality control system even more robust than what it is. Proposed framework uses efficient and effective, as it will use existing work that ICAP QAB is doing. It is not reinvention of the wheel. It is continuation of the existing work. It will strengthen the overall quality and make Pakistan eligible for IFIAR membership, and it will bring Pakistan at par with the global best practices. So that's the summary of what the law comprises of. Just before I end my presentation and my speech and open it for question and answer, I just like to mention what is the stage, where do we stand now as far as the Audit Oversight Board is concerned. Just had a discussion this morning with the SECP people, and I am informed that the draft law has already been vetted by the Ministry of Law, and it has been sent to the